Hello, my name is Brandon Eckhart. Have you ever been to another country where everyone around you is speaking another language and you are unable to understand anything that is being said? Or have you ever heard people around you speaking a different language, leaving you confused about what they're talking about? How does that make you feel? Maybe like an outsider, unable to interact with those around you. Or maybe you feel envious, wishing that you could understand what they were saying so you could converse with them. Like mentioned in our book, oftentimes it can be difficult to communicate with those who are of different cultures than our own. This is largely due to the fact that they will speak a different language than us, or because they will have different meanings for the same words and gestures that we use. By not being able to interact with people who are of different cultures and speak different languages, we are limiting our communication and relationship building potential. Therefore, in order to reach one's full ability to communicate with others, it is so crucial for people to be able to speak in at least one other language. Let's first begin by analyzing how important communication is in the first place. Just imagine all the disastrous things that have resulted due to miscommunications or misunderstandings. Sometimes, the difference between proper communication and a misunderstanding can even be life and death. According to an article written by Laura Hutton of the Australian Institute of Business, being able to properly communicate with others is vital. Just think about it. Being unable to communicate with people in another country or just people in general is similar to living with a serious impairment, such as being blind or deaf. But by being able to speak another language in an unknown area, think about how much more accessible this will be. Also, when you travel, you will not have to worry about running into someone who does not speak the same language as you. Hutton, an MBA professor, mentions how there are many benefits that come from being able to communicate effectively. The biggest one is that it allows one to build and maintain relationships. This is how one works with others. Without being able to communicate properly, one will never be able to have the ability to grow closer with one another or allow the relationship to reach its full potential. On top of that, effective communication will allow everyone involved feeling accomplished and satisfied because they're all able to understand what the other party is saying. Another big reason why effective communication is important is that it leads to innovation. Our society is in a state of constant change where people are trying to do things better and more efficiently. By being able to communicate effectively, this allows everyone to reach their full potential and not be held back because of misunderstandings. Now, let's discuss the advantages that stem directly from being able to speak another language. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how much more value you can add to yourself in the business world by being bilingual. In today's world, companies work with other companies from all across the globe, and oftentimes, they'll be working with someone who does not speak the same language as they do. To solve this issue in the past, these businesses have hired outside translators to act as a third party that allow the companies to communicate. Now, according to Leonard Davalos, an adjunct faculty member of Trinity Washington University, there's an increasing demand for actual company workers who strictly work for that company and do their assigned job duties, but who also can speak other languages. Acquiring the skill of being bilingual or speaking other languages in general will put one very far ahead of those with similar qualifications who cannot speak another language. Davalos also mentions that this does not only apply to people working in corporations, as doctors and engineers who are able to speak more than one language can do things such as diagnose foreign patients or explain ideas to foreign peers much more effectively than if they were forced to work through a translator. All in all, any hiring manager would say the ability of being able to speak more than one language is a great commodity that gives one high value, and this will lead to an increased job security. If one wants to give themselves these advantages, then learning another language is crucial to securing them. Next, I'm going to go over some of the advantages that complement visual aid. These reasons and the reasons I'm going to list come from an article posted on Auburn University's website written by the Department of Foreign Language and Literatures. The article originally consisted of 25 reasons, but for the sake of time and redundancy, I'm only going to mention 4 of the ones that will also complement the reasons listed on the visual aid. The first one was that foreign language study creates more positive attitudes and less prejudice toward people who are different. Skills like problem solving and dealing with abstract concepts are increased when you study a foreign language. Also, 4 out of 5 new jobs in the United States are created as a result of foreign trade. Finally, the study of foreign language teaches and encourages respect for other people as it fosters an understanding of the interrelation of language and human nature. Besides all of these professional benefits, there are also a lot of individual benefits one can receive by learning a new language. Reasons that I'm going to mention now come from an article posted on Denver University's website, authored by their Department of Languages and Literatures. These benefits all surround the idea of making the world more accessible and discovering more cultures. Like mentioned in the introduction, learning another language will open new doors when traveling around the world. One will feel so much satisfaction if they're in a foreign country and able to order their lunch in the country's language with the same ease as if they were doing it at home. Also, it is likely that the locals may even treat one friendlier and feel delighted that you have taken the time to learn about their culture. If that doesn't entice you enough, learning a new language will allow you to learn more about that country's history and cultures. You will be able to enjoy things such as foreign films and music that would just not have been the same if you were to experience them via a translator. Along with that, being able to speak the language of a foreign country will allow you to build relationships and interact with people from all over the world much easier. Now, I want to discuss why some would argue against learning a second language. The biggest argument that people would form against doing so stems from the idea that learning another language would be a waste of time. In an article written by Devin Carbonell of the Huffington Post, he mentions that he's able to speak multiple different languages and has even authored 35 books about language. However, he claims that the entire process is very unproductive. He begins his argument by stating how nearly 95% of all the people in the world are only able to speak one language fluently, out of the 6,500 total languages that exist. Carbonell also claims that if these people are able to live out their lives happily without knowing more than one language, what benefit could be so great that would warrant learning another language? He then moves to discussing how that people who do advocate for learning another language are unable to agree on which second language that people should learn the most. With all the possible languages, there is no single second language that one could learn that would truly benefit them everywhere, and it would be impossible to learn all of the available languages. His third point states how many politicians and other prominent business CEOs do not know other languages, and they all seem to be able to communicate with leaders of the world in other countries just fine. He argues that if people that we emulate and vote into public office can get by without knowing multiple languages, why should we strive to learn them? Carbonell then concludes his argument by saying how people should use their time doing anything else that they find productive to society. He claims that even if one were to go out and learn another language and speak it with natives, there is a high chance that these people will end up laughing at their accent and calling them names. While some of the arguments presented by Carbonell do have merit, I think that the benefits of learning another language still outweigh the negatives. I believe that learning a new language is a cultural immersion process, as opposed to the viewpoints presented by Carbonell that measure the process based on the value of productivity that comes from it. The true value of learning another language comes from how it will affect you as an individual. Being able to speak another language allows one to strengthen their own communication skills and build relationships with people from all over the world. On top of that, it allows you to become more educated about those around you. All in all, one will move one step closer to reaching their full communication potential if they're able to speak more than one language. Thanks for coming.